Doon po sa mga nangungulila sa laro at patuloy na naghahanap ng mapapanood na mga palakasan, mga sports sa ating mga telebisyon. Naku, tuloy-tuloy ang puyatan dahil ngayong linggo pong ito ang The Masters, ang isa sa pinaka-prestigyosong golf tournament ng mundo. Ako po, kagaya ng aking mga kasama na mahilig sa golf, patuloy na nagpupuyat kahapon pa nung simula po ng The Masters hanggang kaninang umaga. At doon po sa mga naghahanap ng balita, well, si Justin Rose po. Si Justin Rose ang namamayagpag. One-stroke lead. Bagamat ang kanyang second round hindi kasing ganda ng kanyang first round, si Justin Rose po ang nangunguna sa The Masters. Kaya naman huwag kayong bibitaw ngayong linggong ito dahil napakaganda ng magiging takbo ng The Masters dahil andyan na yung mga malalaking pangalan. Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, Tony Finau. Naku, ang dami pong magagaling na lalaban dyan. Kaya puyatan na naman. Pero syempre kung kayo nangungulila, dito lang tayo sa Power and Play ngayong Sabado po ng umaga. Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat mga kapatid. Ito po ang Power and Play, hatid sa inyo ng Big Boss Cement, Big Boss sa Tatag, Big Boss sa Tibay, at ng Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Ako po, si Noli Iyala, at kami po ay nagpapasalamat sa inyong pagsubaybay ngayong araw na ito. Naku, talagang na-miss. 2 linggo rin tayo hindi nagkakitaan. Na-miss. Dahil nga sa Holy Week. And of course, patuloy po tayong lahat na naka-lockdown. I hope everyone is taking good care of yourself. Ang dami pa rin pong kaso, kaya po ingat-ingat lamang tayo patuloy po tayong sumunod sa mga health protocols, social distancing, hugas ng kamay, at kung hindi naman kailangan lumabas, dyan na lang po tayo sa bahay magtrabaho. Kami po ganito, work from home, pero ang dami po natin makakausap ngayong araw pong ito. Boxing, basketball ang ating tututukan, bagamat wala pang maraming aksyon dito po sa lokal na mga liga, tuloy-tuloy po ang usapan. Lalong-lalo na yung papalapit pong laban ni Jerwin Ancajas. Bukas na po yan, ipapalabas dito mismo sa One Sports at sa One Sports Plus ng Signal TV. Binabati ko nga pala lahat ng ating mga tagapakinig sa pamamagitan ng Radyo 5 92.3 News FM. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. Mayong buntag naman sa ating mga nanonood sa 1PH Channel 1 on Signal TV, 1PH on Facebook as well as on YouTube. And of course, ang lahat po ng nakatutok sa live stream, Facebook ng Radyo 5 at of course yung YouTube channel ko po, yung Noli Iyala YouTube channel. Nako, sabi ko nga, wala pa masyadong maraming nangyayari at marami lang pong pinag-uusapan. Ang isa dyan ay of course yung pong pagsapit ng ika-46 na anibersaryo ng PBA. Yan po ay naganap kahapon, April 9. Dapat dyan magsisimula ang liga. Subalit dahil nga po sa dami ng kaso ng COVID, naantala na naman ang pagsisimula ng PBA. Pero happy anniversary to the PBA. Kaya po ang tanong ngayon ng maraming tao, kailan ba talaga, Commissioner Willie? Chairman Ricky, marami na pong sinasabi si Chairman Ricky, lalong-lalo na sa pagbati ng anniversary ng PBA. Sabi nga niya, kailangan ituloy yan. No matter what happens, dahil ito po ang kasiyahan, kaligayahan ng bawat isang Pilipino. Kaya po sila po ay nagtutulong-tulong na matuloy ang PBA opening sa Hunyo. No? They're hoping it could be an earlier start, pero mukhang Hunyo na dapat, mukhang Hunyo na yata mangyayari ang pagsisimula ng PBA. Kaya po ang ating pupulsuhan ngayong araw na ito, dapat bang magtayo uli ng isang bubble ang PBA? Yung bubble na ginanap last year, noong pong naglaro ang PBA doon sa Clark, dapat bang itayo muli yan para lamang masimulan itong season na ito? Ulitin ko po yung Pulso ng Bayan. Dapat bang magtayo uli ng bubble ang PBA para masimulan muli ang 46th season? Kung gusto niyo pong makisama sa ating talakayan, mag-text lamang sa aming hotline 0949-691-4956 o di kaya mag-post sa aming Facebook page, Power and Play with Noli Iyala, Facebook ng 1PH at Facebook ng Radyo 5 92.3 News FM. Nako, maraming opinion sigurado dyan dahil ang dami-dami nang nangungulila sa ating paboritong PBA. Alright, mga kaibigan, syempre bago tayo magpasok ng ating mga bisita, himayin muna natin ang mga nakalipas na balita sa larangan ng palakasan sa ating pong weekly sports highlights. Lunes, sinabi ng Premier Volleyball League o PVL na hindi na muna matutuloy sa buwan ng Mayo ang pagsisimula ng kanilang liga. Ito ay dahil sa patuloy na paglala ng COVID situation dito sa bansa. Wala pang ibinigay na bagong schedule ng league opening ang mga opisyal ng PVL. Ganyan din ang problemang kinakaharap ng NCAA. Dapat sa Mayo din ang simula ng liga pero iuurong na lang daw nila ito sa Hunyo. Martes, sinabi naman ni PBA Commissioner Willie Marshall na on hold pala ang mga plano ng PBA dahil hinihintay pa rin daw ng Board of Governors ang susunod na hakbang ng IATF tungkol sa quarantine protocol ng bansa. Martes din nang tinambakan ng Baylor Bears ang Gonzaga Bulldogs 86-70 sa US NCAA para makuha ang kampyonato na sa naturang college tournament. Kung sakaling nanalo ang Gonzaga, undefeated sana sila sa buong season. Pero yun nga lang, simula pa lang ng laro, pinakita na ng Baylor ang kanilang husay. Miyerkules, pinangalanan ng Philippine Olympic Committee si Mr. Al Panlilio bilang vaccine czar para sa ating delegasyon sa Southeast Asian Games. Matatandaan na nakatanggap ang Pilipinas ng $40,000 o nasa 2 milyong piso mula sa Olympic Council of Asia para bilhan ng bakuna ang higit 600 atleta na sasali sa Southeast Asian Games. Huwebes, nagsimula ang Masters Weekend sa Augusta, Georgia. Si Justin Rose ang nanguna matapos ang opening round kahapon. Siya na kaya ang mag-uwi ng green jacket. Tutukan natin yan. Dito rin sa One Sports yan. Biyernes, nagpakitang gilas sa tennis court si Alex Ayala. Pero matapos ang round of 16, ang kanyang paglalahok sa Swiss 60K tournament dahil natalo si Alex ng isang homegrown talent. At bukas, dedepensahan muli ni Jerwin Ancajas ang IBF Super Flyweight title kontra kay Jonathan Javier Rodriguez. Makakausap natin si Ancajas mamaya-maya lamang live dito po sa Power and Play. Nako, magandang usapan yan. Kahapon nagkaroon na po ng press conference si Jerwin. Nagkaroon na ng weigh-in kanina. At malalaman natin po ang pinaka-latest na balita kay Jerwin Ancajas maya-maya lamang. Of course, nagsisimula lagi ang ating palatuntunan sa pamamagitan ng ating paboritong segment kasama ng ating mga kapatid sa hanapbuhay. Walang iba kundi ang Fast Take. At ngayon pong araw na to, maswerte tayo dahil ang ating mga kapanayam mga taga Philippine Star. Walang iba kundi si Luisa Morales at si John Brian Ulunday. Magandang umaga, Luisa and John. Welcome back to the show.
Magandang umaga ko.
Naku, pare-pareho tayo naka-lockdown. Bago tayo magsimula, Luisa, I know meron ka yatang bagong pinagkakaabalahan. Pakisabi mo nga, pakiimbita mo nga mga nakikinig sa atin.
Yes po, ayan po, abangan po natin ang pilot episode ng bagong show ng philstar.com na Home Base. Mamaya na po itong 6 p.m. Ang una po nating guest ay si Miss Ella Fajardo po ng Gilas Pilipinas Women. So live po yan sa Facebook po ng philstar.com and sa YouTube din namin. And kung gusto niyo po audio lang, meron din po yan sa Spotify at Apple Podcast. Salamat po.
Naman, talaga naman magiging celebrity na to mga kasama ko to. John, ikaw ba meron ka ring ambisyon na magtayo ng sarili mong show, ha, John?
Soon. Pero I think I'm more on a website type na lang siguro.
Yun naman. Pareho rin naman yun Basta nakakalabas ng impormasyon kasi tayong lahat uhaw na uhaw sa mga balita tungkol sa palakasan. We welcome that, Luisa, and certainly iniimbita natin po lahat ng ating mga tagapakinig. Makinig po kayo home base ng online ng Philippine Star. Alright, let's begin with our fast take issues. Ang dami nating tinututukan ngayon, Luisa at John. Of course, alam na natin ang ating patakaran, 1 minute to give your opinion. Sabi nga natin lagi, walang mali, walang tama na opinyon. Bato-bato sa langit, tamaan, wag naman magagalit. Alright, ang ating pong unang issue ngayong araw na to, John and Luisa. Sabi ko nga kanina, ang daming nangungulila sa PBA, ang daming nagtatanong, ano ba ang mangyayari sa mga plano? Naglabas na ng statement si Commissioner Willie, malamang daw ay Hunyo. Si Chairman Ricky, nagpo-propose pa ng isang goodwill series with China. Sa gitna ng pagtaas ng COVID cases, ano dapat ang maging hakbang para masimulan ang pro leagues, hindi lamang ang PBA, pero siguro tutukan natin ang PBA dito sa ating bansa. I will begin with the lady. Luisa, 1 minute, go!
Sa tingin ko po, hindi natin may iwasan na ma-sideline ulit ang mga sports. Kung hindi talaga natin makokontrol ang pagtaas ng mga kaso ng COVID-19. Lalo na ngayon, may iba-iba tayong mga variants. Kailangan maisip natin na syempre ang unang concern palagi ay safety ng lahat. Hindi lang ng players, kung hindi lahat ng involved sa liga, katulad ng mga game day staff at mga officials, etc. Pero sa tingin ko naman po, hindi rin naman magiging matagal ang pag-aantay natin para sa mga pro leagues, lalo na't nagsisimula naman na ang mga vaccine rollout. Siguro ang maaaring hakbang lang po ngayon ng mga liga natin ay makapag-secure sila ng vaccines, which is nagagawa naman na po ng most of our leagues, nakikipag-partner na po sila katulad ng PBA sa Red Cross. At siguro kung ngayon makapag-organize na rin ng ligtas na bubble setups na para magamit nila sa future, kasi hindi pa rin naman po pwede siguro na full force kahit mga bakunado na tayo lahat.
Alright, well, talagang vaccine ang hinahanap na solusyon. Pero yung iba, meron ding thinking out of the box. John, same question. Sa gitna ng pagtaas ng COVID cases, ano dapat ang maging hakbang para masimulan na ang mga pro leagues sa ating bansa? 1 minute, John. Go!
Morning, Com. I think ang magagawa pa lang natin at ang mga pro leagues natin is maghintay, wait and see. Kasi let's remember na itong nangyaring ECQ is hindi to kumpara nung nakarang taon na parang no end in sight. Yung ECQ ngayon is, I think, meron lang siyang timeline. So, magkakaroon ng pagtatapos. Kumbaga meron tayong timeline na inaabangan. So, hindi tayo matagal na ganun maghihintay. Hindi tulad ng nakarang taon, hindi natin alam kung kailan matatapos yung lockdown, ganun. So, ngayon, I think, for 2 weeks, for 1 month lang siya, then go na ulit. So, by that way, syempre, kailangan pa rin nating pagandaan yung other options, which is yung bubble na always open naman sa Pampanga and other low-risk areas. Pero for now, I think no rush for our pro leagues kasi like I said, yung ECQ ngayon is not compared to the last year. Mas tanda ata tayo ngayon and I think kahit na lumalala yung cases is we're going back.
Well, alam natin yan na talagang napakahirap ng kalagayan ng mga pro leagues dahil sila nagpapasweldo po ng mga manlalaro, ng kanilang mga coaches, gumagastos ang PBA, gumagastos ang mga volleyball, yung PVL, ng kanilang nakakontratang mga players. So, as much as possible, gusto nila simulan, pero siyempre, pinangangalagaan din po natin ang kalusugan ng ating mga manlalaro. Again, the option of a bubble, kahit nga MMA, no? Luisa, dyan, naantala, nagkaroon ng isang positive case doon sa MMA, yung one. Kaya talaga pong napaka-importante na umabot ang vaccine sa ating mga atleta. Alright, second take of the morning, and I will begin with you, John. Alam natin kanina yung balita na si Alex Ayala ay pumasok sa isang W60 tournament. Ito po ang ibig sabihin nito, it is a $60,000 tournament na kanyang nilahukan doon sa Switzerland. Round of 16 finish sa Swiss 60,000 tournament para kay Alex. Ano ang inyong rating so far sa performance ni Alex bilang isang pro ngayon na siya ay naglalaro na sa isang 60K tournament? I will begin with you, John. 1 minute. Go!
Sir, first of all, Alex Ayala has been doing a fantastic job. Ang rating ko sa kanya so far is solid and impressive, on the way to excellence soon. Pero for sure, hindi pa yan ngayon. Tandaan natin na si Alex is second year pa lang sa women's pro circuit, 15 years old, and yet I think she's been to 8 pro outings this year, including several quarterfinal finishes. Tapos ito nga yung first W60 tournament niya. Kahit na nag-exit siya via third round, she missed a quarterfinal berth. Yung 2 wins ni Alex is against top 300 players ng WTA. Alex is number 715 right now. Pero nag-start siya from 1190 this year. So she's getting there, and with more exposures, more tournaments na makukuha niya for sure. Aside from being the best in the ITF juniors, Alex Ayala will get there, I'm sure.
Well, talagang nagprosigido si Alex kahit na anong humarap sa kanya, hindi siya umatras. Same question, Luisa. Round of 16 finish as a Swiss 60,000 tournament para kay Alex. Ano ang iyong current rating o sa performance ni Alex so far? 1 minute, Luisa, go!
Alam naman naman natin na talagang sinusubaybayan ng lahat ang mga performance ni Alex, ano. Pero debut niya ito sa 60K tournament at ito ay isa sa mga tournament na matataas talaga yung mga ranking ng makakalaban niya, mga top 300, top 200. And naging maganda ang pakikipagsabayan niya sa mga mas matatanda at mas experienced na mga kalaban niya. Kumbaga ito ay mahalagang exposure sa kanya, especially at her young age na 15 years old pa lang. Sa tingin ko yung raw talent ni Alex at this time yung hindi pa nakikita yung buong potential, pero yung mga tournaments na ganito, especially she saw a lot of mga 3 sets dito, at nananalo naman siya at nakikita mo yung mga marathon finishes niya. Makakatulong sa kanya para umabot sa peak ng kanyang career. And nalaman natin sa Rafa Nadal Academy na maaari tumaas ng more than 200 places ang ranking niya, kaya nowhere to go but up tayo kay Alex.
Well, maganda yung sinabi mo, Luisa, na at least lumalaban. In fact, yung kanyang pagkatalo kay Simona Walter dito sa 60K tournament, 3 sets yun. Nanalo pa siya noong second. And she had a chance to win another one, pero medyo talagang experience lamang yung mga kalaban. But ang isang sigurado ko, at nabanggit ito ng kanyang ama sa akin, Alex is enjoying herself, and I think that's the most important part, na walang burnout yung bata habang paangat ang kanyang career. Alright, let's go to our third and final take ng araw na ito. Ma'am, bukas na ang laban ni Jerwin Ancajas, depensa 9th title defense ng kanyang IBF title. Ang tanong, ano ang inyong fearless forecast, Ancajas versus Rodriguez? Luisa, 1 minute, go!
Yan, alam naman natin lahat, matagal na itong fight na ito in the works. Parang halos 2 taon ata inantay ito for Jerwin kasi nagkaroon siya ng visa problems, and then alam naman natin yung pandemic. Kaya I think si Jerwin tsaka lahat ng kanyang mga taga-suporta, tayo ay masaya lamang na makita na siya makabalik sa ring, as a more seasoned fighter kesa kay Rodriguez, and bilang defending champion, alam nga natin 9th na title defense niya na to. Maraming naniniwala na kayang ipanalo ito ni Jerwin kontra sa Mexican fighter na si Rodriguez. Pero siguro ang masasabi ko lang ay kailangan ma-shake off kagad ni Jerwin yung rust, kasi medyo matagal-tagal na nga siya hindi nakapaglaro. Lalo na si Rodriguez ay nung December 2020 lang lumaban at may 6 fight winning streak. So parang hindi lang dapat makampante ang ating pambato, Pero kilala naman natin si Jerwin at katulad ng ibang mga Filipino boxer, di naman tayo sasabak sa gera ng hindi handa.
Well, nakita natin ang latest litrato ni Jerwin Ancajas, and he is looking good. Mamaya, makakausap natin yan. Alright, John, same question. Ano ang iyong fearless forecast sa laban ni Jerwin Ancajas sa depensa niya ng corona laban kay Jonathan Rodriguez? 1 minute, go!
Jerwin, of course, sabi nga ni Luisa, there will be rust, may kalawang pa kasi almost 2 years siya hindi lumaban. Pero tingin ko mas magiging factor yung gutom. So 2019 pa siya huling lumaban, gutom na gutom to. Kumbaga gigil na gigil to lumaban si Jerwin. 3 beses na cancel yung fight nila ni Rodriguez. Kumbaga ilang taon niya nang iniisip tong kalaban na to. So I'm predicting Jerwin Ancajas win. If that's a knockout, if that's a decision, we will see. Pero I'm confident that Jerwin will win. Kahit na sabihin natin si Rodriguez, condition to kasi December yung last fight niya. I think mas magiging factor yung gutom tsaka training. Si Jerwin almost 2 years na nag-train, including a Navy training. So I think magiging factor yung longer training tsaka yung gutom factor ni Jerwin.
Well said, well said. Talagang bagamat merong kalawang na lalabas dyan, pero syempre iba pa rin yung panggigigil at yung kagutuman para makakuha ng panalo at makauwi. Dahil alam mo, tagal na rin naman niya. Oktubre pa siya sa Amerika. Abay, gusto na rin makita ang kanyang pamilya. But again, regardless of what happens, all we want, whether it's a knockout or a decision, gusto lang natin muling manalo ang ating batang si Jerwin Ancajas. Mamaya makakausap natin si Jerwin pagkatapos ito. Kaya maraming salamat, Luisa at saka John. Congratulations on your show. Sana wag niyo naman kami iwanan pag may show ka na, Luisa.
Thank you. Hindi po, never.
Maraming salamat. Enjoy your day. Stay safe. Yan
Thank you,
mga
Thank you,
kaibigan, ang mga kasama natin si Luisa Morales at si John Brian Olanday ng Philippine Star. Panoorin niyo yung show nila. Again, home base. Diyan po yan sa Philstar Online. Alright, at this point, pinag-uusapan natin ang laban ni Jerwin Ancajas. Bukas na po yan. Ito po ang kanyang kauna-unahang laban since December of 2019 nung tinalo niya si Miguel Gonzalez ng Chile sa isang 6th-round knockout. Alam niyo po, si Jerwin, 9th defense, he has not lost since 2012. Ganun po kagaling itong batang ito at siya po ang ngayon ay naghahanap ng respeto. At ngayon pong umagang ito, makakasama natin mismo ang kampiyon ng mundo ng IBF. Walang iba kundi si Jerwin Ancajas. Kasama ang ating kaibigan, ang presidente ng Manny Pacquiao Promotions, si Sean Gibbons. Jerwin, magandang umaga sa iyo. Sean! Viva Sean! Alright! Magandang umaga, Jerwin.
Magandang umaga po.
Ang ganda ng itsura mo. Mukhang kondisyon. Yung mga lumalabas na yung mga buto sa pisngi at nakita ko yung litrato mo nung pinadala ni Sean. I saw the picture, Sean, and Jerwin looks like he's a bull. He looks like he's in shape. Jerwin, una-una, mahigit isang taon na. Pamula nung ikaw ay huling lumaban. Anong nararamdaman mo ngayon sa eve ng bisperas ng iyong laban? Alam ko gabi dyan. Bukas na yung magiging laban kay Jonathan Rodriguez. Ano ang nararamdaman mo ngayon na ikaw ay naghahanda na?
Ito po, masaya po kasi unang-una nakuha ko yung timbang ko, yung trabaho ko yan yung pinakauna ko na sir na kalaban yung timbang. Kailangan natin makuha ang timbang at masaya kami na yun nagawa namin yung dapat namin gawin at saka itong pagdating bukas, excited na sir. Alam naman lahat na matagal na akong hindi nakalaban, halos 2 taon na hindi nakalaban. Napaka-excited. Excited na po talaga ako sir. At yun din at hindi po ako na talaga nagkukumpiyansa kasi ganun din yung kalaban ko, excited, gutom na makuha yung titulo.
Para bang nagsisimula ulit, Jerwin? Para bang bagito ulit dahil parang, di ba, kaka-excite dahil ang tagal mo nang hindi lumalaban. And of course, ito yung 9th title defense mo na at marami nagsasabi na pagkatapos ito, malamang yung mga hinahanap-hanap na laban mo na ang dadating.
Opo, kung may pagkakataon po na mabigyan. Pero pinaka-focus ko po talaga sir, ito munang laban na to kasi para sa akin hindi biro tong na to, kalaban na to kasi alam naman yung sa mga interview nga niya, talagang preparation rin niya daw talaga kami at sabi niya pang wala pa daw akong nakalaban na kagaya niya mag-pressure.
Anong sagot mo doon, Jerwin? Wala ka ba bang nakakalaban? Ikaw ba talaga ay pag-aralan mo ba si Jonathan Rodriguez na mabuti?
Kami naman sir, naganda naman talaga kami din ni coach kung ano man mangyayari sa taas ng ring, may mag-a-adjust tayo kung sakaling nag-a-adjust sila kasi alam niyo sir, sinabi niya pa nga halos 2 o 1 taon din niyang pinag-aralan daw kami kasi yun nga tagal kami hindi matagal na tong laban na to. Sana talagang pinag-aralan na daw nila talaga yung galaw ko. Ganun yung mga sinasabi nila sir. Pero kami naman ni coach ko kahit na anong dalhin nila sa ring, handang-handa kami sir.
Nakailang rounds ka na ng sparring, Jerwin, bago sa laban? At anong timbang mo ngayon?
Sa ngayon pa sa sparring namin, sir, di namin na ano yung sparring namin, sir, eh. Kasi minsan nag-a-adjust kami sa kasi sobrang ano nga din yung sa sobrang tagal ay si coach tinitingnan niya din yung condition ko. Kaya kung minsan binabaan niya yung round, minsan tinataas lalo na pag Pero ito sir, ngayon okay na sir at bukas handa din sa mga pangalawang timbang ko ngayon mga nasa 124 sa pag-recovery.
Okay, pero yung official weight mo, anong lumabas sa official weight mo, Jerwin?
14.8 po, 14.8.
Okay, alright. Andiyan pala si Coach Hoben. Coach, magandang umaga, magandang araw sa iyo, Coach. Bago ko kausapin, before I talk to Sean, Coach, ano ang huling concentration ninyo bago kayo pumasok sa laban bukas? Ngayong araw na to, anong gagawin ni Jerwin? Meron pa ba kayong gagawing konting ensayo? Ano ang pinag-aaralan nyo ngayon?
Sir, sa ngayon po sir, recovery si Jerwin, sa pagkain niya, tulog niya. At bukas, yun na, magsisimula na kami mag-review sa namin, sa mga gagawin namin sa taas ng ring, mga strategy namin, yung mga technique na papagawa namin sa kanya. So, sa ngayon sir, more on recovery siya sir, kain, tulog, at
okay.
pahinga.
Oo, tama yan. Kailangan maaga matulog para talagang kondisyon-kondisyon. Sean, how do you like the preparation of Jerwin up to this point? Do you see that? Have you seen the kind of condition that he's had? This kind of condition ever from Jerwin?
I think he's better than he's ever been because he's added a few elements to the team, working on his diet. Being able to train in the U.S. for the last 6 months has really been good. He's focused on his food, his condition, his training. So, no, I think this is the best Jerwin you're going to see, and I think this fight is going to steal the night tomorrow night, the best fight of the three.
All right, well, we'll talk about the fight card, but have you heard anything from the camp of Jonathan Rodriguez? How is his condition as well?
Oh, have we heard anything? The man just tells everybody, I'm knocking Jerwin and Ancajas out. I'm winning this fight. He's very confident. We've seen him here all week. If you read some of the articles the guys put out, he's supremely confident. He believes this is his time, his moment, and, he's not going to be stopped. But unfortunately, Jerwin didn't read that same script. He's on a different script than Brother Jonathan. So I find it to be a very exciting fight, but it's just going to be one of those nights where Jonathan's going to realize that he tussled with the wrong guy.
Well, kailangan ipakita, kailangan talagang malakas ang mensahe dahil Jerwin, alam natin na itong mga Meksikano, lagi tayong karibal. Jerwin, ano ang magiging strategiya mo sa laban bukas? Meron na ba kayo napag-usapan ni Coach Joven? Maaga ba kayong papasok? Naghahanap ka ba ng knockout? Ano ang magiging strategy mo, Jerwin, bukas?
Yun po, bukas din po, ang sa amin ni Coach talagang doon na kami magbabase kung ano mang estilong mayroon sila sir kasi ngayon nga yun yung inaano namin na baka nag-adjust nagbago din ng estilo si Jonathan at doon kami magbabase din sir kasi doon kami magbase kung ano mang estilo mayroon siya at doon kami mag-a-adjust na ni Coach sa taas ng ring. Pero
Coach Joven, kayo ba may plano kayo maagang pasukin si Jonathan? Meron ka ba nakitang kahinaan kay Jonathan na ito ba ay mabilis magsimula, mabagal magsimula, mahina ang bodega? Ano ba ang nakikita mong kahinaan itong si Jonathan Rodriguez?
Una-una po yung mas maganda yung footwork ni Jerwin. Mas short yung suntok ni Jerwin, mabilis dumating yung suntok ni Jerwin. Tapos yung maagang pasukin si Rodriguez, depende po sa sistema na mangyayari doon sa taas ng ring po, sir. Kung may pagkakataon po, papasukin kagad ni Jerwin. Pero pag-aaralan muna namin, hindi kagad-agad Para yung kumpiyansa nandun lagi.
So in other words, Jerwin, handa ka whether ito ay maging bugbugan, bakbakan, o maging boxing match na tumagal ng 12 rounds, ready ka kahit na anong ilabas ni Jonathan Rodriguez bukas?
Opo, handang-handa na po at excited na po ako kung ano mang mangyayari bukas, sir. Yun po, isa din sa nagpapaano ko sa akin yung laban na yan kasi alam ko ito si Jonathan talagang matapang, yung tipong Mexican style. At yun naman din po yung ano natin na makapagbigay ng magandang laban, sir.
All right. Sean, we know that this is going to be shown live in the Philippines. This is going to be shown live via One Sports online. And of course, it will be shown also on free-to-air TV on One Sports and One Sports Plus, courtesy of Big Boss Cement. All systems go for the fight card, Sean. And can you tell the people listening now, what are the Big Boss? What are the fights that will be up in the card tomorrow?
Well, they get a special treat because fellow Filipino Mark Makakapanayam will be on the telecast, courtesy of Big Boss Cement. Thank you so much for making this possible in the Philippines. You'll have Jerwin and Ancajas open the telecast at 9 p.m. here in Connecticut. Then you got a great fight with Walter Waits, Thomas Delorme, fighting a kid named Stan Jonas. And then, of course, the main event for the fans here in the U.S. on Showtime, Jaron Ennis versus Sergey Lipnitz. But overall, it's a great show. From the start to the end, and the little guys usually are the ones that steal the show. So that's what we're really looking forward to. Jerwin's fight, but the whole card will be good for anybody that tunes in.
How is Mark Magsayo? You mentioned that he will be fighting tomorrow against Pablo Cruz. How is he? How is his condition? And is he also staying with you in the same hotel there?
Yeah, Mark is here with his wife Frances. They're in great shape, great condition. He's here with Freddie Roach, who trains him. He weighed in at basically 126.8, I think, for a weight of 127. Mark is good. Mark's been in the U.S. also for the last 7-8 months. He's put in a lot of great preparation for this fight. I see good things happening for Mark also tomorrow night.
All right. How do you see the fight of Jerwin going tomorrow? If you were a betting man, if you were a guy that would look at the odds here, how do you see this fight going tomorrow?
I see it, similar to a lot of Jerwin fights. Jerwin comes out. He figures out, what kind of guys in front of him. Coach Joven and him make some adjustments, during the fight, during the rounds. And I think as the fight goes on, Jerwin's a very sharp shooter. And I think he'll just steadily break Jonathan down, as the fight goes on. And we hope for maybe a late round stoppage or just a win. Whatever way it's going to happen, we just want to see a W. But it'll be a great, fight because it's a good style for Jerwin. Jerwin likes guys that come to him so he can work off of his, natural abilities and skills. So I think it's again, you can't make a boring fight. Jerwin's in great fights all the time.
All right. Jerwin, alam natin, matagal ka nang nawaliw sa pamilya mo. Matagal na kayong nandyan sa Amerika. Kanina, may mga kausap tayo, mga journalists. Sabi nila, isang concern nila, of course, yung kalawang, yung rust, yung matagal mong hindi paglaban. Iyan ba isang concern para sa iyo? Tingin mo ba medyo maninibago ka doon dahil matagal kang hindi tumungtong sa ring? O sa tingin mo mas mangingibabaw ang yung kagustuhan mong manalo?
Para sa akin, sir, yung kalawang, sir, hindi naman talaga yung kalawang talaga kasi since nung nag-lockdown, since nung hinawakan ko tong title, sir, never talaga din na kami nag-stop sa training, lalo na doon pa kami galing sa camp kay Sir Gilbert Cruz po doon sa Dipolog hanggang pagpunta sa Maynila nung nag-lockdown. Tuloy-tuloy yung training namin, sir, at kasi alam namin na nandyan yung laban namin, darating din yan. At yun yung pang-ano ko, sir, na hawang-hawa ko tong title, sir. Gusto kong tuloy-tuloy yung training kasi alam ko na daming gustong kumuha nito, sir. Kaya itong darating na laban, masabi ko hindi siguro ako kinalawang, sir. At gusto kong magbigay ng magandang laban.
Alam mo, may mga napabalita, of course, sa press conference mo kahapon, na nabanggit mo na, and also sinabi na rin ni Sean Gibbons, that this is a fight na humahanap ka ng respeto. It is a fight that where you want to stamp yourself, na pakita mo kung talagang sino si Jerwin Ancajas and finally get the respect from that division. Ito ba, Jerwin, nagbibigay sa'yo ng inspirasyon? Saan ka ba humuhugot ng inspirasyon ngayon papasok na laban mo bukas?
Una po, lalo na sa ano ko po, ngayon sa una naman talaga yung family, yung sa camp, sa lahat ng mga tumutulong sa akin, sa mga sumusuporta sa akin, at lalong-lalo na sa kina Coach Gibbons, Sir Sean, sila yung nag-ano sa akin, sir, at itong naging inspirasyon ko rin itong mga inano ni Rodriguez na kukunin na yung belt. Gusto kong ipano sa kanya na hindi basta-basta makukuha ang belt pag ikaw yung may hawak sa belt, sir.
Oh, talagang wag mo bibigay. All right, Sean, before I let you go, what is the future in store for Jerwin? We don't want to look past this fight, obviously, but a lot of talk has been mentioned about Chocolatito, talk about Rumvisay, and all the other great fighters. But do you see Jerwin getting back to the U.S. Quickly and fighting again this year?
I do. If everything comes out okay on Saturday night, I can see Jerwin returning to the ring hopefully around September. Being off as long as he was, we'd like to get busy, get active again. Things are opening up here in the U.S. completely. All the states are starting to reopen 100%. So it's a great shot that he could be back by September of this year. Yes.
All right. Are there other Filipino fighters, Sean, that you are lining up as well? I know that you've been helping so many of the Filipino boxers. Are there any other fights? And of course, the biggest question, of course, is what is the latest on Manny Pacquiao's fight?
Yeah, that small Filipino fighter, Senator Manny Pacquiao. Hopefully he can return to the ring. We're really hopeful in July. There's some things working out there. There's some discussions. There's names out there like Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford being mentioned. But I could see sometime in the summer, June or July, the Senator definitely returning to the ring. You have John Rio Casimiro returning in August to the ring. You have Raymart Gabayo coming back. You have Marlon Tapales coming. A lot of other Filipino kids. Romero Duno, Magic Mike Plania. It's a great time to be a Filipino. I tell you that. It's a lot of activity, a lot of action coming up.
Coach Joven, before bitawan kita, sa tingin mo ba si Jerwin ay pagkatapos itong laban na to, handang-handa ng harapin kahit na yung pinakamalalaking pangalan and of course, humanap ng unification bout? And pangalawa kong tanong is, magpapatuloy ba si Jerwin sa timbang na kasalukuyang ginalabanan niya sa junior featherweight or sa junior bantamweight?
Sir, yes po, handang-handa na po talaga si Jerwin, sir. Kaya kami ni Jerwin, sinasabi namin kay Sir Sean na kahit sino makalaban, handa na si Jerwin. At yung tungkol naman sa yung sa timbang ni Jerwin, komportable si Jerwin. Sabi niya, hanggat hindi siya makakuha ng unification, hindi siya aakyat ng timbang po.
Very good, very good. All right, Jerwin, final question sa iyo. Anong plano mo pagkatapos? Uuwi ka ba? Uwi ka ba sa Pilipinas bago ka bumalik sa Amerika ulit?
Sir, depende pa po nito, sir, pagkatapos ng laban kasi nandito pa din si Yumer at yung mga plano baka maano pa kasi ma-extend pa mga ilang linggo kasi gusto pa ni Yumer na samahan at suportahan talaga namin talaga din si Yumer sa darating na laban niya lalo na tong sa Tokyo, sir, sa Olympics, sir. Kaya gusto namin tulungan si Yumer.
Yun ang maganda. Talaga nagtutulungan ang mga Filipino boxers, suporta, moral support, pati ang training, sinasabayan nyo. Jerwin, it's a big fight. Kami lahat ay excited na. This will be shown, sabi ko nga, live dito sa Pilipinas. May delayed telecast, may replay. Lahat yan sa tulong ng Big Boss Cement at ng Signal TV. And of course, lahat tayo nagdarasal. We're all praying that you come out as a big winner tomorrow night and bring back glory for the Philippines. So Jerwin, ang huling mensahe mo sa lahat ng fans mo dito sa Pilipinas at lahat na sumusuporta at nagdarasal sa iyong laban kay Jonathan Rodriguez bukas.
Unang-una po, nagpapasalamat po ako sa Panginoon. Ngayon, tuloy na talaga yung laban ko at binigyan niya ako ng magandang kondisyon. At nagpapasalamat po ako sa lahat ng mga sumuporta, Big Boss Cement, kay Sir Gilbert Cruz at sa buong team, sa akin na Coach Joben, Sir Sean, at sa buong sa buong Navy din po, sa mga sumuporta sa akin at sa lahat po ng sumuporta at naniwala sa Team Ancajas. Sana po ipagdarasal niyo po kami sa aking kalaban na sana safety yung kinalabasan ng laban kahit anong mangyari at yun lang po ang hiniling namin sir na sana safety yung bawat isa sa amin pagkatapos ng laban at nagpapasalamat po ako ulit sa inyo na nandiyan po kayo lahat sa pagdarasal at suporta sa amin sa team. Maraming salamat po.
Well, talagang pinagdarasal ka namin and we just wish na ikaw ay maging safe, maging maayos, walang magkaroon na kapansanan, walang magkaroon ng injury, and of course, manalo tayo bukas. Wave that flag proudly. God bless you, Jerwin, and we will see you tomorrow. Viva Jerwin Ancajas! Viva Sean!
Woo!
Viva Coach Robin! Good luck tomorrow. Maraming salamat sa iyong panahon.
Salamat.
Thank you, Noli.
God bless po.
God bless. Yan po mga kaibigan, si Jerwin Ancajas, ang ating kampiyon na lalaban bukas sa Connecticut. Doon po sa Connecticut. Showtime brought to you by PBC, yung promotion po doon. And of course, it will be shown tomorrow via Facebook live stream, live 9 a.m. One Sports and One Sports Plus. At meron pong same day telecast. Bukas po yan, One Sports at One Sports Plus, alas 12 ng tanghali, magsisimula po ang laban sa One Sports at One Sports Plus. May primetime replay alas 7 ng gabi at may second replay po sa Lunes, April 12 sa One Sports, alas 12 po ng tanghali. Again, Jerwin Ancajas, laban kay Jonathan Cruz para po sa kampyonato. And of course, lalaban din po si Mark Magsayo kontra kay Pablo Cruz. Panoorin po natin lahat yan sa One Sports at One Sports Plus. At of course, pagdarasal po natin ang ating mga boksingero bukas. Alright mga kaibigan, we will take a quick break. Kami po ay magbabalik pa sa aming pagbabalik. Ang makakausap naman natin ay tungkol sa NBA. Si Homer Sayson sa Power and Play. Hatid sa inyo ng Big Boss Cement at ng Cherry Loom. Nagbabalik po ang Power and Play. Siya nga pala, gusto ko lang batiin ng isang belated happy birthday ang aming kumare, si Jackie Baltazar. And I also like to greet my son, Jacobo. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, buddy. Noong pong April 8, yung aking punsong anak. Alright. At this point, mga kaibigan, ating pong, bago natin ipasok ang ating susunod na panauhin, balikan muna natin ang best moments in sports this week in sports history. April 5 or 1896. Naku po, ang tagal na nito 125 years na nakalilipas nang ginanap sa Athens, Greece ang kauna-unahang Olympics sa modern era. Nagkaroon na ng Olympics bago ito, pero itong 1896 Olympiad kasi ang kauna-unahang Olympics sa ilalim ng International Olympic Committee at sa isang mas malawakan na scale. 280 na mga atleta mula sa 13 mga bansa ang naglaban-laban sa 43 events. Ito ang unang Olympics in the modern era. The first Olympics in the modern era this week in sports history. Wow! Grabe, no? Isipin nyo, ang tagal na po ng Olympiada. Of course, kaya naman talaga naging tradisyon na ang Olympics kahit anong mangyari, kailangang ituloy. Kaya itong Tokyo Olympics, latest is that of course, naglabas na ng mga bagong protocols na naman ng Tokyo, mas mahigpit dahil nga sa tumataas na kaso ng coronavirus, COVID-19. Kaya naman po ay ating dinadalangin ang kalusugan po ng lahat ng atleta, lalong-lalo na po ng ating mga Filipino athletes going to the Tokyo Olympics. At this point, mga kaibigan, patuloy po na ang kaisa-isang liga na talagang tinututukan natin marami, lalong-lalo sa basketball, ay yung pong NBA. And of course, when we talk about the NBA, siyempre kailangan nating ibalik ang ating resident NBA expert sa Power and Play. Ang ating kaibigan, katuturok lamang. Ewan natin, checkin natin kung mahusay na ang kalagayan. Si Homer Sayson live from Chicago. Homer, magandang araw. Kamusta ang turok mo? Are you feeling better?
Yeah, Commissioner, I have been as a child na medyo makulit. I've been into so many fist fights when I was young. Pero my rule of thumb has always been my courage ends at the end of a needle. Takot ako kahapon, Commissioner.
Buti hindi ka nakuha ng picture. Nag-trending si Homer Sayson. Yung inaalis yung kanyang braso sa turok. But, again, it's natural. We all don't know what's going on. But I'm glad nakuha mo na yung vaccine shot mo. Talking about the vaccines, ang NBA ba, nagsimula na bang mag-vaccine rollout ang NBA sa kanilang mga players, Homer?
They're doing, the protocol is state by state. So depending on, because there are states where the COVID cases are very low, so they have their rollout early. Here in Illinois, we were scheduled for April 12 for the mass vaccination with people over 16 and above with no pre-existing conditions. But because maganda ang rollout dito, and then we have an oversupply, so everybody can come in now. There's even no proof of residency. It's just you can be from nearby Indiana or Michigan, and you can just come here and get a vaccine, which is great.
I'm reading na dahil nga sa pagdating ng vaccines, malamang daw next season, almost full arenas ang ine-expect ng NBA. Do you think that this will happen, Homer, in the next season?
100% in Florida and Texas, because they have no. In fact, the Texas Rangers baseball team, when they played last week, full capacity, 40,000 people.
Wow!
And the UFC, they have a promotion this weekend or next weekend. I think next weekend. It's full capacity too in Florida.
Wow!
Because there are states, especially they call it the red states here, Commissioner. Those are the Republican states who had always been anti-vaccine, anti-masking. So they have already lifted those restrictions and they have no limit. Here in Chicago, the Bulls games are not even allowing the crowds, not even 10%. So it depends. To answer your question, it depends. In Utah, which is very low in COVID cases. It's cold weather too. So they already had their vaccines. And
Very good.
some other teams hasn't have it. But gaya ng sinabi mo, the scenario is and the expectation sa NBA next season regular na lahat. It's going to be people in the arena and reporters like me. I can go back to the locker room. That's the thing I miss the most, Commissioner, is the interpersonal reaction. You know, it's a community. You see your
tama.
you see your fellow members of the press in the press box. I can talk to the coach, especially if, when the Warriors come here. I'm very good friends with Chris DeMarco. I used to bring him to dinner at Pacquiao's house, and we've become friends ever since. Eric Spoelstra, coach of the Miami Heat. So those are the things that you miss.
And that is also the benefit of having a vaccine already given to you, dahil at least inoculated ka na, and you'll be a lot more confident going face to face with all of these players. Let's talk about the NBA, Homer. Alam natin
I'm ready.
Katatapos lamang ng trade deadline, hindi natin napag-usapan yan. Yung buyout, nagkaroon din ng developments dyan. Post-mortem, let's talk about the trade deadline lang. So far, it seems like there have been teams that have benefited from the trade deadline and some teams that have not. Sino sa tingin mo ang nakakuha ng benepisyo doon sa kanilang mga nakuhang players in the NBA trade deadline?
Denver Nuggets. Since they had acquired Aaron Gordon, 7-0. 8 of their last 10 games, nanalo sila, and then they have been unbeaten with him at 7 games. What Aaron Gordon does is that although yung average niya, Commissioner, is not really that eye-popping at 12 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists per game, but his impact on the defense, napakahalaga because he allows whoever leaks, from the defense of Jokic and Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray, who's not really a great defensive player. You have this guy like Aaron Gordon now, who's more like a free safety in football, where he can just, roam around the perimeter. So hindsight being 2020, Denver Nuggets, obviously. But the Bulls are also doing good. Ang Bulls, Commissioner, 6 games after acquiring Vucevic, which was supposed to be the biggest deal, they lost all 6 games. But now, because, chemistry needs to be developed and harmony and what have you, the familiarity in the system. So now they've won 4 in a row. So the Bulls and the Denver Nuggets. But for record-wise, it's the Denver Nuggets. They're just a better team right now, Commissioner.
Although, there's one team out in the West na mukhang nabenepisyohan din. And I don't know if it's enough to get them to the top. It was a small pickup in the person of Rajon Rondo, ang LA Clippers. Do you think that Rondo is going to be a good addition and moving forward para sa Clippers going into the playoffs where they will need a lot of his leadership and experience?
Yes, Commissioner, good point. The stability. At the very beginning of the season, if you notice also, Kawhi Leonard had openly told the media publicly that we have a problem closing games. He said, I don't know kung residue ba to na we lost a 3-1 series to Denver, but what happened this season early was palagi sila natatalo. They lose like 10-point leads in the fourth quarter, which is becoming an anomaly. Rondo comes in, and that's what he brings, a stability. And in fact, he almost had a triple-double last night. They call it an explosion, 15 points, which is big for Rajon Rondo because he's a playmaker. And then if he gives you 15 on the side. So it makes him very good because back in the day, before acquiring him, they had Patrick Beverley. But Patrick Beverley is good, Commissioner. Don't get me wrong, but he cannot facilitate the offense in the same way that Rondo would. Look at Rondo. He made Alex Caruso almost an all-star last season. He resurrected Dwight Howard's career because they gave him so many easy shots. But the guy that you're speaking of the Clippers, the guy that you really have to pay attention to is Luke Kennard. He was bought out by the Detroit Pistons because the Detroit Pistons didn't want to pay him. He's number 3 in the NBA in three-point shooting, 41%. He's really good, Commissioner. I mean,
laking bagay.
Even our casual fans, kung manood tayo, Clippers, we always look at Paul George and Harrell, the big names, and Kawhi Leonard. But Luke Kennard gives you 17 minutes a game, shoots 41% from the three-point range. It's huge. So, in fact, 2 days ago, nang tinalo nila ang Boston Celtics, Luke Kennard was huge. So, good deal for the Clippers too.
Obviously, ito yung mga teams na benepisyohan, Denver and the Clippers. Let's go to the buyout na nangyari. Dalawang koponan ang malaking nakakuha ng pickup. LaMarcus Aldridge for the Brooklyn Nets and of course si Andre Drummond for the LA Lakers. Ang tanong ko, did they need this? And so far, how has it been for these two teams, Homer?
Sandali lang, Commissioner. May text ako kay Andre Drummond. Gusto niya bumalik sa Cleveland. Because can you imagine, Commissioner? The buyout was he surrendered $4 million of his salary to play for the Los Angeles Lakers, which is, when you're making $22 million, $4 million, I guess, is not much. But the idea was, lalaro ka sa Lakers para with LeBron and AD. Last night, he didn't have LeBron, AD, no Kuzma, no Holton Tucker, no Harrell. So he probably woke up and said, am I still in Cleveland? So,
parang mas malala pa, no?
Mas malala pa because at least in Cleveland, you got Kevin Love. There's no All-Star. But Brooklyn, a lot of people, Commissioner, sabi nila, wala na. He's old. He's past his prime, LaMarcus Aldridge, which is true. He's 35 years old, and the tread on the tires are so thin you can see the air. Pero here's the thing. If you want a LaMarcus Aldridge to carry your team as your main core, your main scorer, then he's not the guy. But he's only playing 24 minutes a game at Brooklyn, Commissioner. A team, walo sa players nila are averaging in double figures. So that's impossible to stop. And then you have the ninth player, Blake Griffin, playing 17 minutes a game, 9 points, 7 rebounds. So they are so deep. I still have a problem.
Grabe.
I still have the problem, Commissioner, with their defense. They're number 25th in defensive rating, 25 among 30 teams, 25 in points per game allowed at 116. Pero kung ganito ka kagaling, Commissioner, if they gave up 116 points, but then they score 130 a game, then I think the defense wouldn't matter.
Well, that's what people are saying, na talagang opensa nila ang magdadala sa kanila ng kampyonato. But of course, we've always known that saying that defense wins championships, no? And do you think
not
that
anymore.
Sa tingin mo, kaya na ng opensang manalo ng kampyonato with that kind of firepower that Brooklyn has?
Yes, because that's why I love Jordan Clarkson. He always, he takes my phone calls, we text, his father's close to me, we go Facebook all the time. I never had faith with the Utah Jazz. I think they're a marching band to nowhere when it comes to the playoffs. You know why? Because yung core ng defense nila, Commissioner, is Gobert. And you know what? When he plays teams like the Brooklyn Nets, he's not going to be able to park in the perimeter because everybody's going to be outside. He's going to be guarding Durant, LaMarcus Aldridge, and everybody can shoot. So that's why nobody's afraid of the Utah Jazz, because they know they can always take Gobert out of the ball game because he's going to immediately become a mismatch on the defensive side of the ball. And then in offense, he only gives you 12 points a game anyway. You're like, okay, give him 12 points because Durant's going to score 40 on him. So yun ang problema ng Brooklyn Nets. To answer your question, yes.
But again, diba, sinasabi nila, when you get to the playoffs, mas matagal. Of course, you play a series, mas matagal ang tutukan. So, you get to, napapag-aralan mo, and you play better against a particular team. Do you think that the Brooklyn Nets can take this out of the equation? At kaya nilang talagang talunin ang mga kalaban, even in a series like the playoffs already?
Yes, because here's the thing, Commissioner. Ang maganda kasi sa playoffs, the myth is this. I shouldn't say myth, but the belief, a proven belief, na pagdating sa playoffs, hihina ang laro because the possessions are going to be limited. And then, gaya ng sinabi mo, they can game plan because the games are every other day. In the regular season, sometimes they play four games in 5 nights. So you can't really prepare because you might be in Sacramento, California today, and then tomorrow you're in Cleveland. So that's the opposite side of the coast. So it's so hard. But when you play just one team, Commissioner, the scouting reports are there. Kita mo na lahat and then you can prepare. But here's the thing. Brooklyn is so deep that they can really pace their players. Can you imagine this? The statistics that what I was researching for my appearance today, nag-research ako ng mga teams. And the stunning statistics na nakita ko sa Brooklyn, Commissioner, is this. Record nila is 35-16, the best in the East. They have 35 wins despite hindi lumaro ng combined 52 games Harden, Durant, and Irving.
Grabe, lakas, no?
They have this they have this luxury now. In fact, I was just talking on the way drive home here. I was picking
Mm.
up my son, and he also likes his NBA. And I told him the beauty of Brooklyn right now is that with Durant, they can really just rest him, Commissioner, so the rest of the playoffs. I
Parang,
mean, because
parang specialist na lang pagdating sa dulo, saka na lang ilalaro.
yeah, because Commissioner, this is a person who has had a torn Achilles and an ACL. So he could be brittle, he could re-injure it anytime, but in the playoffs, 16 games lang kailangan mo. You just need him there for 16 wins for the NBA championship. So
Alright.
they're not gonna park him altogether. Pwede lang palaruin ng once every 5 games para lang hindi, no rust and no calcification, and he's still fluent in how the system is being run in Brooklyn. So I was a non-believer because of their defense, but Commissioner, it's so hard to stop a team like that. 9 scorers.
Yeah. Well, I've seen it. And I was not a believer, but they've won. They've lost only once in the last. I don't know how many games, and they're talagang napakalakas. But let's go to the West. Let's talk about the LA Lakers. Sabi mo nga, wala si AD, wala si LeBron. Ang daming injuries. They're now currently sitting at 5th in the West, but they're only about 2 games ahead, 2.5 games ahead of the 7th place Dallas Mavericks. Is there a concern that they will drop to the play-in tournament? And do you agree na kung basta pumasok lang sila sa playoffs, okay na?
No, because here's the thing. Okay, 2-part question. First question, your first question, Commissioner, is there a chance? Yes, I already wrote that in my column, and I said they are going to play for the play-in tournament because they're going to drop, because the Dallas Mavericks are gaining ground. Not only that, Memphis, Commissioner, they're also gaining ground on the Lakers. And the Lakers, without LeBron and AD, sa nakita nga na natin, they're a terrible team. They're just not good. So ang mangyari niyan is that they could be in the play-in tournament. And how it works in the play-in tournament is that you only need to win if you are 7 and 8, because they make the top 6 automatic kasi ang top 6 na
Right.
qualify. But if you're 7 and 8, you win one, you get the 7th seed. But if you're the lower tier, you need to win twice. But para bang NCAA, Commissioner, that when you're 1 and done, if the Lakers finish in 10th, that means they have to play twice to win twice. What if they catch Curry on a very hot night? Kasi one game lang it's not a series. Or Portland or San Antonio, because San Antonio is also in the play-in tournament. So that's the danger. Insofar as when LeBron is doing healthy and AD, they'll be fine. Not necessarily, Commissioner. Nakausap ko yung medical director ng Detroit Pistons. Sabi ko, how hard is it? No, it's very hard, sabi niya. You need... Tingnan mo, there are many players in the NBA like, Aldridge, because he hadn't played in a month in San Antonio. Before he could even play, they put him in a reconditioning program. So, get in shape. Their doctors will examine you, how much your peak weight mo, and so far as for your performance. So, LeBron and AD, the same thing, especially galing sila ng injury. You have to make sure na ang conditioning nila fine. So, there's no time for them. If they come back, like let's say in a month from now, and then that would be the play-in tournament, they would be in danger of getting eliminated, Commissioner.
Clearly, there's no certainty sa Lakers' future at this time. Pero I have and I want to ask you, we're running out of time here, pero that play-in tournament innovation ng NBA, Homer, may mga nagsasabi na medyo hindi pa, kasi nung sa bubble, they experimented on that. Pero the teams that could get into the play-in tournament should be at least 3 games to the 8th place team. Ngayon, wala nang ganyan. Kahit na 7 games behind ka, as long as you make number 9 and number 10, you can still get into the play-in tournament. Hindi ba medyo unfair yung play-in tournament na kagaya ng teams like Indiana, may mga injuries, they're just waiting, they're taking their time. Ganon din ang Golden State. And then they get into the play-in tournament, and then you only need 1 good game and you can probably make the playoffs.
Answer is yes and no. Yes, because last season, Commissioner, because of the pandemic, the games were so depressed. Some teams played only 61 games. So that's 21 games. You can always make an argument, hey, we could have won the 21 games remaining in our schedule. So that's why the allowance that the NBA gave was much longer. to reduce that, the complaints that, hey, baka manalo kami. We would have gone on a 15-5 streak in our last 20 games. This time, Commissioner, it's a 72 game schedule, 10 less. So that's why the window is not as wide, because 10 games lang eh. You can easily go even at the best team. If you're winning 70%, which is malaki na yun sa NBA, that's 7-3. So that's why ginawa yun. And also, I like it because of the element of, you can knock out the Lakers in one game, in one good night, where Steph Curry scores like 70 or something, and then LeBron and AD goes cold or gets into foul trouble. So I like that element too. So,
one thing I like about it is that at least the NBA is thinking how to innovate. They're not settling, and that's something that some pro leagues should also be thinking about. Homer, we're running out of time here, so let me ask you, as we go into the playoffs, sino sa tingin mo will drop out? Who rises, who falls out of the current top 8 ng East and the West?
Sa West, Commissioner, I don't like the Lakers right now because sa injury nila. And then I see the Utah Jazz, as the season goes along, more scouting has occurred. So kita mo, they've lost, I think, 4 of their last 7 games. So I think they will begin to drop as well. Portland Trail Blazers, doing very good, but Damian Lillard, McCollum, the health issues also very brittle. And dito naman sa East, I'm seeing the Chicago Bulls storming back, Commissioner. They're really playing good now under Vucevic and Daniel Theis with the whatchamacallit, with the new addition from Boston. And then also I forgot to mention Dallas Mavericks, very good.
So, sino sa tingin mo, do you think Denver, who do you think will take first place in the West? Do you think Denver will go? They're playing so well, sabi mo nga kanina, and now they're in 4th place. The Clippers are also rising. Of course, the Suns have proven they can beat Utah. Who will take number 1 spot sa West?
West, I would take the Clippers. The LA Clippers are so good, Commissioner. Phoenix Suns, people always mistake age with experience. I can be 32 years old, but I haven't been in the playoffs. So that's different. By the same token, a player can be 24 years old, but had been to the playoffs 5 times already. That's the problem with the Phoenix Suns. They have Devin Booker, 6 years in the league, DeAndre Ayton, 5 years in the league, but they haven't been extensively deep in the playoffs. So yun ang difference yan ng Phoenix Suns. So that's why these teams, Utah, Phoenix, I don't really trust them to go deep. No, they probably will go second round, but going when the rough gets going, I see Denver and the LA Clippers in the West. And the East, I have a team sa East, Commissioner, na you're very familiar with. That was Philadelphia 76ers. Joel Embiid. I was never a fan of Joel Embiid because, bad experience. I'm going to give you an anecdote. One time when he was a rookie, remember, he didn't play the whole season.
No.
So he traveled with the team because you still get paid, even if you don't. So we were together. He ate at the media dining room because normally the visiting team would have their own food, pre-game meal. But he had therapy, exercise, workout. So naubusan siya ng pagkain. So doon siya kumain sa media dining room. So we were eating together on the same line. He was getting some hot dogs and I was getting some steak. So I tried to talk to him and he was so snappy, Commissioner. Like, I was like,
Hindi ka pinansin, ha? Hindi ka pinansin?
Pinansin, pero he was like very antagonistic. And I'm telling myself, I've interviewed Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Kobe. They were all nice to me. So I know it's bad because you shouldn't take it personally. So I never was a fan of it. I never liked him. But now, Commissioner, personality is great. Number 1 in the NBA in free throws a game. Impossible to stop. 54% from the field. So you know what? Underneath this jersey, Sixers.
Well, the Sixers are still hanging around. Despite the injuries, they played well without Joel Embiid. Pero
Commissioner, hanging around is an understatement. They're 1/2 game away from the Brooklyn Nets for number 1 in the East.
I know, but alam naman natin yung
because he was injured. Yeah, that's what you meant. Yeah.
But of course, the Brooklyn Nets are loading up. So hindi ko alam yung arms race how Philadelphia. Of course, they got George Hill. Pero again, it's all a matter of staying healthy going into the playoffs. And I think that's going to be interesting as we move on. And we certainly hope na mas maging interesante with the play-in tournament na gagawin ng NBA. Final parting shot, Homer, your current MVP.
Ngayon, Joel Embiid. I'm not kidding.
Wow.
I'm not saying to ingratiate you or to put me in your good graces, Commissioner, but the numbers are the numbers. Here's the thing. To win MVP in a league, the rule is you have to play 70 games of the 82 game schedule, 50 games of the 82 game schedule. Because it's only 72 now, you only have to play 43. Embiid is right there, Commissioner. So he's going to qualify for the votes. And if you look at Philadelphia, without their best player for 10 games, they are 35-16. So I don't see why not he becomes MVP, Commissioner. And with Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's still very good, but there's what they call voter fatigue. He won back-to-back, nothing to show for it, not even, and Eastern Conference Finals once. So that's going to go against him. LeBron missing 8 weeks after everything is done. He no longer qualifies for that 43 games. So the road is open for Joel Embiid, Commissioner.
Wow.
Just like the road is open for you to be the second next commissioner of the PBA. Yes! Yes! Breaking news! Breaking news!
Uy, huwag ka maingay. Baka. Pero again, text ko si Joel Embiid, sasabihin ko, susunod huwag kang maging masungit kay Homer Sayson.
I know.
I hope he stays healthy. Just like you, I hope you stay healthy, Homer. I hope you stay healthy.
Yes, Commissioner.
Naubusan na tayo ng oras. Again, thank you. Thank you, Homer, so much for all your insights. And keep safe. See you soon.
Thank you. Same to you, Commissioner.
Yan po mga kaibigan, si Homer Sayson. Huwag kayong makikinig dyan, hindi totoo yan. Hindi po, wala yung balitang yun. Homer talaga. But again, thank you for all of the NBA insights galing kay Homer. Always a pleasure talking to him. He's such a lively interview and obviously a lot of information for all of us. Alright, at this point mga kaibigan, tuloy-tuloy po tayo. Pagpasalamat tayo sa ating mga tagapagtaguyod. Big Boss Cement, Big Boss at Tatag, Big Boss at Tibay. Nandito na ang Big Boss Cement. Di basta matitibag, approve sa kalikasan at sobrang abot kaya. Big Boss Cement is the first eco-friendly cement company in the Philippines. First and only cement that is produced with low to 0% of high carbon footprint materials. Big Boss Cement, Big Boss at Tatag, Big Boss at Tibay. Maraming salamat po kay Engineer Gilbert Cruz at sa kanyang buong staff. Marami din po salamat sa Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Sa ganitong pabago-bago ang panahon, mga kababayan, sobrang init tapos biglang uulan, kailangan natin ng matibay at protektadong bubong. Ang bubong ay yerong may aluminum. Kapag may aluminum, tiyak na pang matagalan. At isa lang ang alam kong dekalidad na yerong may aluminum, yan ang Cherry Loom. Tibay protektado sa pang matagalang yero. Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Thank you so much kay pareng Elmer Ngo at sa buong bumubuo po ng Cherry Loom. Marami din po salamat, of course, sa ating mga kaibigan sa Elms Resto Bar Group, Home of Fried Itik. Sila po ay may mga branches, yung Elms Tapas and Winery located sa Cali Bistro Commonwealth, Quezon City, at sa Elms Grill and Bar sa Poblacion, Makati. Pwede niyo pong tawagan ang kanilang mga mobile numbers 0977-157-0499, 0966-854-4048 o bisitahin ang kanilang Facebook at IG pages at Elms Resto Bar Group for reservations and inquiries. Thank you also, of course, to Joyride, ang bago ninyong kasundo. Dahil ayaw naming mahirapan ka, book Joyride Motorcycle Taxi now and experience hassle-free commute. Kapag delivery naman, Joyride ang gamitin. Bagsak presyo pero hindi ang serbisyo. Joyride is now on its lowest rates ever. And of course, open po ang delivery 24/7 kahit na may curfew sa ECQ. Download the latest Joyride and Happy Move app. Thank you so much sa lahat ng mga tiga Joyride. Available na ngayon sa Laguna at sa Metro Cebu. Thank you also to Makisagot Professional, your school of makeup artistry, the official makeup of Power and Play. And of course, marami po salamat sa Skin, your face and body anti-aging center with branches at Wilson Street sa San Juan City at sa Alabang Town Center sa Muntinlupa City. We provide Indiba tissue regeneration procedure, mesotherapy, Maximus Tri-Lipo, and many more to take care of your body needs. For your inquiries, please call 0917-890-1640 o 0977-809-8886. Thank you so much para sa ating mga kaibigan, si Dr. G. Sarmiento at si Doc Richie Sarmiento ng Skin, Your Face and Body Anti-Aging Center. Alright, at this point mga kaibigan, tuloy-tuloy po tayo. Gusto ko lang pong batiin yung mga kasama natin na nakatutok dito po sa Power and Play, si Ferdinand Peregrino, Maricar Zaragoza mula sa Singapore, naku, layo ha. Sheila Denzo, si Teodora Nanyo mula po sa Laguna, of course si Lot Gorospe, Jenny Tolibas, si Annabel Agoyetas mula po sa Davao City na nakatutok sa atin ngayon, Lily Alfonso mula sa Novaliches. Marami pa, ang daming itong mga kasama natin, si Alan Bongko ng Caloocan, si Angelo Redaya ng Malolos, Bulacan, Ali Arbis ng North Zagaray, Bulacan, at si Vernalisa Ortiz ng Calamba, Laguna. Maraming po salamat sa lahat ng mga tumututok sa atin dito po sa Power and Play linggo-linggo. And of course, gusto ko pong magpaabot ng isang get well soon sa ama po ng isa kong kaibigan, isang coach na nakasama ko sa Gilas, Pilipinas, si Coach Oliver Bunyi. Ang kanya pong ama ay nasa Medical City. Again, wishing him speedy and full recovery kay Mr. Bunyi. Alright, at this point, we will take a quick break. Magbabalik pa po ang Power and Play hatid sa inyo ng Big Boss Cement at ng Cherry Loop. Nagbabalik po kami sa Power and Play. Doon lang sa mga nagpadala ng kanilang reaction sa Pulso ng Bayan. Well, may sinabi yung sabi natin kung Dapat ba, ano ba dapat gawin ng PBA? Dapat bang ibalik daw yung bubble? Sabi ni Ivan Gayares, sabi niya, mas maigi pa na mag-invest ang liga sa vaccination kaysa magtayo ng bubble. At mas mabuti din po na sa second half na ng taon magsimula ang sports dahil sa sitwasyon ng NCR Plus ngayon. Sabi naman ni J. Chio, ano daw ang reaction natin sa sinabi ni Chair Ricky Vargas sa China versus PBA selection to jumpstart the new season? Sabi niya, ako I disagree, pangit ng timing. Sabi naman ni Vivian Constancio ng Marilao, Bulacan, dapat lang naman po iurong dahil baka madagdagan na naman ang case ng COVID pag nagsidalo ang kanilang mga tagahanga. So mukhang ang mga tao ay very aware sa mga nangyayari, and of course tayo po ay nananalangin na lamang na talaga namang maayos ang PBA at makapagsimula sila kahit papano, pero hindi po natin minamadali. Ako mayroon akong suggestion Pwede naman maraming paraan. Just think out of the box. Yan ang ating suggestion sa mga tiga-board at kay Commissioner Willie Marshall. Alright, at this point mga kaibigan, ang ating inaabangan na balita, of course, nakarating na sa atin. Meron po tayong bagong nakapasok sa Tokyo Olympics. 2 boksingero ang papasok sa Tokyo Olympics ngayong taon na to. Nadagdagan po kay si Irish Magno at si Homer Marshall, ni Nesthy Petecio at ni Carlo Paalam. At ngayon po makakasama natin ang ating pong boksingerong si Nesthy Petecio at ang kanilang head coach na si Mr. Don Abnett. Live mula sa Thailand. Magandang araw, Nesthy. Good morning, Don. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Morning po. Morning.
Maraming salamat. Thank you. All right, Nesthy, Don, who is beside you?
That's Carlo Paalam.
Oh, yes. Oh, Carlo. Medyo madilim Carlo, kasama rin po natin Carlo Paalam. Magandang umaga, Carlo.
Magandang umaga po, sir.
Oo, okay. Maraming salamat sa inyong pagdalo. Alam ko, unang-una gusto ko magpasalamat kay Executive Director Ed Picson for arranging this interview. Alam ko na you're not, this is the first interview that you're giving pagkatapos na mahirang kayo sa Tokyo Olympics. So let me ask you first, Nesthy at saka Carlo, kayo matagal nang nag-intay sa pagkakataon makapasok sa Tokyo. Marami kayong pinagdaanan, nagkaroon ng postponement ng mga laban dahil sa pandemya, and of course finally kayo ay nakapasok sa pamamagitan ng highest ranking ninyo both sa featherweight at sa flyweight. Reaction mo, Nesthy, ikaw ba kahit kailan nawalan ka ng pag-asa na makakapasok ng Tokyo?
Una-una po, yun, sobrang thankful po kay Lord po sa blessings na binigay niya po sa akin. Nung natalo po ako sa Jordan, kumbaga, hindi naman po ako nawalan ng pag-asa na makakapasok ako or makakakuha ako ng slot sa Tokyo po. Kasi, unang-una, naniniwala ako sa coaches ko lalo na kay Coach Nolito Velasco, kay Coach Ronaldo Galido, kay Coach Don po. So, nung pagkatalo ko doon, kumbaga ginawa ko siyang challenge sa sarili ko, kumbaga ginawa ko siyang inspirasyon po na sa susunod na Olympic qualifying, mas mag-push pa po ako, mas doblehin ko pa po na para sa sunod na laro, hindi na ako matalo ulit at makakuha po ng slot po talaga. At nung sinabi po ng coaches ko na cancel na nga daw po yung Olympic qualifier po sa Paris. So, tapos, medyo na, syempre, nag-alala po ako na paano yung Olympic dream ko na yung nag-cancel na nga po. Pero nung sinabi naman po na biglang hinugot po ni Coach Boy na dahil nasa ranking tayo, nakaipon tayo, nakakuha tayo ng points dun sa world natin. So malaki yung chance natin na makapasok tayo dahil dun na nila kukunin sa ranking yung slot sa darating na Olympics. So kumbaga nahimasmasan din po ako dun. Kumbaga sabi ko sa sarili ko, sabi ko kay coach ko na si Lord na bahala, coach, kung ibigay niya sa akin to, hindi na natin pakakawalan to. Yun po yung sinabi ko po.
Well, alam natin na back in 2016 talagang minalas ka lamang na dun sa laban mo against yung Moroccan, dapat nag-qualify ka. But again, now is your chance to redeem at tayo natutuwa na ikaw ay papasok sa Tokyo. Carlo, ikaw ba throughout this wait, yung paghihintay mo, ano ang nagbigay sa'yo ng lakas na loob? Ikaw ba kahit kailan nawalan ng pag-asa na makakapasok ka pa sa Tokyo Olympics?
Nabigyan din po ako ng chance. Una-una po, pasalamat ako sa Panginoon kasi binigyan ako ng chance na maglaro ng Olympic na dream ko dati sa maliit pa ako. Ito na po, napasalamat din po ako sa mga coaches ko, sa lalo na ako sa Coach Abnett at sa lahat ng coach po na nagtiwala sa amin po. Tsaka yung sa po kasi nagdano sila sa ranking ko eh. So masaya ko po kasi nasali po din ako sa ranking namin po. Yun po.
Oo. Well, again, mga kaibigan, ito pong ating kasama, si Nesthy at si Carl, nakapasok sa Olympics dahil nga sa kanilang highest place ranking. What does this mean to you? Anong kahulugan nito, Nesthy at Carlo, para sa inyo? Na kayo ay makatungtong sa Tokyo Olympics finally. Personally and of course para sa inyong career. Nesthy, ikaw muna.
Sa akin po, sa 13 years ko po sa boxing, sa mga na-achieve ko po, nakuha kong gold sa mga international na laro po. Kumbaga, para sa akin po, aside sa dream to ng papa ko, na gusto kong tuparin, na gusto ko ako magtuloy. Aside po doon, pangarap ko na din po to eh. Ito yung pinaka-highest na pangarap ng lahat ng mga atleta eh. Kumbaga para sa akin na kahit ano po yung mga nag-gold man ako sa World, sa SEA Games, sa kung ano international po. Kumbaga pag hindi ako nakapasok sa Olympics, hindi ako nakalaro sa Olympics, kumbaga useless lahat po yun eh. Kumbaga ito yung pinaka-peak namin eh. So pag hindi ako nakalaro dito, wala. Kumbaga para sa akin po, kumbaga wala. Kumbaga hindi buo yung pagiging atleta ko hanggat hindi ako nakakalaro sa Olympics po. Yun po yung para sa akin po.
Carlo, ikaw, anong kahulugan ng pagtungtong mo sa Tokyo Olympics finally?
Sa akin po, ito yung pinaka-pangarap ng lahat ng mga atleta po eh. Ito yung bata ka pa, gusto mong magkalaro ng Olympic hanggang tulad nga sinabi natin Nesthy po, ito na yung last dream namin po eh. Ito na yung parang sa pag-aaral ko yung last na papasukin mo na Olympic po. Yun po.
All right. Don, Coach Don, how ready are Carlo and Nesthy mentally, physically, and I guess even psychologically moving towards closer and closer to the Tokyo Olympics?
Well, this has been a different preparation that I've ever been involved in. We've had the pandemic, and then they've been in the provinces, and then we come into the training in Laguna, for 8 weeks, and that a good base of fitness and strength for the camp that we're currently in. But the competitions, the competition spars that they've had against the Thais at the moment, or so far, has been very good. So they're in a good positive mindset as well.
All right. What aspects do you see of their game as well as in their conditioning gives you confidence, Coach Don, that Nesthy and Carlo will do well in the Tokyo Olympics?
That's their performances in the training, their attitude towards the training, and so it should be as well. They're going to the Olympics and they're really focused.
All right, Nesthy, alam natin nasa Thailand kayo. In fact, you had a terrific performance dyan sa Thailand. Meron pa bang specifically kang area ng iyong style, ng iyong performance na tinututukan mo ngayon na gusto mo pang palakasin? Ikaw ngayon ay nakafocus, Nesthy?
Yes po, sobrang dami pang i-improve, dami pang kailangan po talaga kasi ilang buwan din po, halos isang buwan din po akong na-quarantine bago makarating po dito. So doon pa lang behind na po sa training po talaga. So ang kailangan ko i-focus po talaga sa stamina ko, yung speed ko, yung power ko, yung timing po lahat sa suntok po talaga. Baga, ang dami pa pong kailangan i-improve. Pero yun po, may tiwala po ako sa coaches ko, kay Coach Nolito, kay Coach Rinaldo Grido, kay Coach Don. Andyan po sila para alalayan po kami. So, yun po, bigay ko lang po sa kanila lahat. Mag-focus na po sa kung ano pong sasabihin nila. Training lang po, focus po sa training po.
Carlo, ikaw, gaano kahalaga itong pagpunta nyo dyan sa Thailand sa iyong paghahanda? At ikaw ba, meron pang weaknesses na gusto mong ayusin na ngayon na nandiyan ka at may panahon ka sa Thailand?
Yung ano po, improve ko yung bilis po at saka yung mga tactic po na bibigay sa mga coaches namin po. At saka may tiwala naman ko sa sarili kung gagawin ko talaga po.
Coach Don, are you happy with the way the training camp has gone in Thailand? Are you right on schedule? Are you right on your timetable with the boxers?
Yeah, it's been good. The 8 weeks that we had in the bubble was good. It was just about exactly right for him to come over here and then get into some more competitive training against the Thais. So it's been good. So from here we go to another training camp in Muklex for 3 or 4 weeks, and then off to the Asian Championships in India. So and then we'll have probably a 10-week training block, hopefully maybe here or with some other countries leading into the Olympics.
All right, Nesthy, habang palapit tayo ng palapit sa July, opening ng Olympics, ikaw ba merong mga agam-agam, may mga fears, may mga worries na iniintindi mo ngayon tungkol sa magiging performance mo sa Tokyo?
Meron naman po, pero yung sa experience ko po nung sa Jordan, kumbaga, kasi nung time na yun, yung mga agam-agam po yun, ng mga worries ko po, dinibdib ko po kasi siya eh. Kumbaga, hinayaan ko siya, inalaw ko siyang pumasok sa isipan ko, inalaw ko siyang tanggapin ko. Ngayon po kasi, kahit may naririnig po ako, may nararamdaman po ako, or kung ano man po yan. Kumbaga, hindi ko na siya inaalaw na magstay pa siya sa akin. Kumbaga, inayaan ko siyang dumating, maramdaman ko siya, pero pinapalabas ko kaagad siya para mas makafocus ako sa performance ko na gagawin po sa taas ng ring sa bawat training po. Yun po yung ginagawa ko po ngayon.
So talagang
deadma.
Oo, yan. Naka-focus lang talaga at walang nakaka-disturbo sa isipan mo. Carlo, ikaw, ganun ka rin ba? Meron ka bang mga kinakatakutan? May mga agam-agam ka bang mga iniisip ngayon bago ikaw pumasok sa Tokyo?
Wala po. Focus po. Hindi na nagpapadala po. Yan ako.
Very good. Meron na ba kayong napag-aralan mga makakalaban ninyo sa inyong division when you get to the Olympics? Carlo, meron ka na bang nakitang maaaring makatunggali mo dyan at ngayon ba pinag-aaralan nyo na yan?
Marami kaming mga kalaban din po eh. So, tulungan naman kami ng mga coach namin ng paano gawin po.
Okay. Sino-sino yon, Carlo? Meron ka bang mga pangalan o mga bansa na pinag-aaralan na ngayon?
Madami po. Lalo ng India po. Tsaka Kazakhstan. Marami po eh. Marami ding mamagaling din.
Nesthy, ikaw, napag-aralan mo na ba ang yung posibleng maging katunggali dyan sa Tokyo Olympics?
Ang nasa isipan ko lang po talaga yung rank 1 sa 57, yung Taipei. So, siya po talaga yung lagi-laging nasa isipan ko. So, kasi alam kong siya yung isa sa matinik kong kalaban po talaga doon.
All right. Don, everybody's of course putting their bet on our boxers. A lot of responsibility on your hands as well as the boxing team. What do you think will it take for the Philippines to finally win a gold medal in the Olympics from boxing?
Sorry, you cut out a bit there. Could you repeat that again?
What do you think will it take for the Philippines to finally nail that gold medal in boxing?
Well, we need to prepare the athletes good for the games. They're like Carlo got beaten in the first fight at the qualifiers by the silver medalist at the World Championships, and then he lost 4-1 to the bronze medalists at the World Championships. So they're not far off. They're on track now. Nesthy's really on track. She lost a very close decision at the qualifiers as well. So we're close there. We just need to prepare and be at their very best at the games.
All right. Before I let you go, Nesthy at saka Carlo, do you feel any pressure? Meron bang pressure sa inyo na ngayon naka-qualify na kayo, finally i-deliver yung Olympic gold para sa Pilipinas, Nesthy?
Yes po, nandun yung pressure eh. Pero yun nga po, sabi ko kanina, hindi ko na siya inaalaw po ngayon na mag-stay siya sa akin. So, kumbaga, alam kong nandyan lang yung pressure, pero diyan ka muna. Huwag ka munang pumasok sa akin, sa isip ko. Kumbaga, may block na po, may harang na po siya. Pero alam kong andyan yung pressure, pero hinaharangan ko po. Diyan ka muna.
Carlo, ikaw, meron ka bang pressure na nararamdaman ngayon na naghahanda ka na papasok ng Olympics?
Yeah, yes po. Nandiyan naman yung pressure ng plagi po eh. Pero na ma-manage yung sarili po. Yun ako po manage sarili. Pandalin po.
Okay, well, we certainly wish you all the best, Nesthy at Carlo. Pinagdarasal namin kayo. Siguro, huling mensahe ninyo as you continue with your preparations. Mensahe nyo, Nesthy, sa ating mga tagapakinig at mga supporters ninyo.
Ayun po, patuloy nyo lang po kaming suportahan at ipagdasal mga atleta pong lalaro sa Olympics po at saka siyempre yung mga atletang nag-i-aim pa din po na makakuha ng slot. Pagdasal nyo po kami. At ingat lang po kayo lagi. God bless po sa ating lahat.
Carlo, ikaw, mensahe mo.
Salamat po sa suporta po at salamat sa mga dasal po at suportahan nyo kami po. Hindi lang kami po, lahat ng mga atleta po. At yung mga kababayan natin dyan, ingat kayo lagi and God bless po.
Coach Don, thank you so much for giving us your time and we certainly wish you all the best and you take care of our boxers.
Yes, thank you very much.
Maraming salamat. Yan po mga kaibigan, ang ating mga Olympic hopefuls, Nesthy Petecio at si Carlo Paalam ngayon ay papasok na at lalaban sa Tokyo Olympics. Sila ay nasa Thailand ngayon, the training sa kanilang training camp dyan sa Thailand. Kung saan nanalo na si Nesthy dyan sa kanyang mga tournament. Kasi kasama rin si Carlo, nanalo rin siya. Tinalo niya si Yurachai doon sa 52 kilogram class. Alright, good luck sa ating mga boksingero. Tuloy-tuloy po tayo sa Power and Play at walang humpay dito ang balitaan. Siyempre, ang ating inaabangan, of course, ang pagbabalik ng basketball sa ating bansa. Nung isang araw po, nakasama natin walang iba kundi ang head coach ng Blackwater Bossing na ngayon ay naghahanda na kahit nasa ilalim ng pandemya, hinahanda ang kanilang koponan na hopefully gumanda ang kanilang season. Ito po ang ating panayam with head coach Nash Racela ng Blackwater. Coach Nash Racela, Coach, it's good to see you. Mukhang wala ka ng santan. So, ang ibig sabihin ba niyan, talagang nasa bahay ka lang lagi?
Yes, Com, nasa bahay lang madalas. Alam mo na, sumusunod tayo sa sa bilin na hindi daw tayo masyado dapat tumalabas ng bahay. So, very limited exposure sa labas. Thank you, Com, for having me today. Magandang araw sa iyo at saka sa yung mga taga-subaybay.
Maraming salamat. Alam mo, malaking bagay na makasama ka namin. Because kayo ang pinaka-busy, isa sa pinaka-busy teams noong off-season. Ngayong off-season, no? A lot of trades, a lot of drafts. Mamaya pag-usapan natin yan. But before I go to that, everyone is in lockdown right now, Coach Nash. Kamusta ka? How are you using this time personally and I guess for the team to prepare for the coming season?
Well, siguro unang-una, just taking advantage of the time to be with the family. Siyempre, we always have to look for the good in everything. So, yun ang unang-unang nakita ko na ito yung pagkakataon na makapag-spend ng time sa pamilya. Kasi alam naman natin na pag nag-start ang liga ng PBA, mababawasan yung time sa family. So, that's one thing that I'm really taking advantage right now. Now, sa team naman namin, very limited din yung pwedeng gawin eh. Talagang ngayon, puro lang kami mga Zoom workouts. Bumalik kami dun sa aming mga Zoom workouts. We do that 3 or 4 times a week.
Mm-hmm. How frustrating is it, Coach Nash? Na alam naman natin, we were almost there, no? Nag-anunsyo na ng isang date, April 9. Dapat ngayong araw na to, no? Anibersaryo ng PBA. And then of course, na-postpone. Tapos na-postpone dahil dumadami pa ang ating kaso. How difficult is it to prepare your team, ikaw rin, physically, mentally, psychologically for the coming season?
Well, tama ka, Kom. It's kind of frustrating, lalo na pag nararamdaman mo na kumbaga nakakabuelo yung mga players mo, yung team mo. Tapos biglang all of a sudden kumbaga madadapa ka ng konti. But syempre wala naman tayong choice sa mga ganitong pagkakataon kundi bumangon or mag-move forward. Kasi part ito nung pangyayari ng buhay eh. Hindi pwedeng hindi tayo mag-adjust. So sa nakikita ko kung sinong unang mag-adjust, maintindihan ko ano yung nangyayari, siguro yun ang mas makaka-advance sa buhay. So that's a kind of approach na palagi kong ginagawa. So katulad nitong sitwasyon natin ngayon, maraming bagay dito na hindi naman natin nakokontrol, hindi natin kaya. Ang kaya lang natin is the way we react to it and kung ano yung mga kaya natin gawin sa pang-araw-araw. So kami, with a very limited things that we could do as a team, yun na lang muna yung ginagawa namin. We do Zoom workouts, but at the same time, we keep on reminding our players na to do extra. Kung naa-allow sila dun sa lugar na meron sila.
I'm sure ikaw rin, inip na inip ka na. At, obviously, kayo mga coaches, you do your own homework. You watch tapes, you watch games, the NBA, and of course, past games. And that's all that. And sabi mo nga, you just have to do what we can given yung ating sitwasyon. And that has been a mantra in your life, Coach. When I was reading through what you've done, you've been in all levels, lahat ng antas ng basketball, no? You've seen it all and you started very young. Batang-bata ka when you started the NBA, of course, and then collegiate basketball, and then of course the professional league. Coach, just a little bit of looking back, how much has yung coaching changed since the time you started? How have you adapted to the many changes dito sa laro natin?
Sobrang laki ng pagbabago. Again, I started when I was in my mid-20s. That was in the late 90s pa. So medyo matagal na pa na. When I started being an assistant coach, I was the scout for Coach Binky Pavis. Nagsimula kami with mga VHS pa lang eh. So ngayon, alam mo, dati 2 VHS just to transfer, just to edit games. Ngayon, napakadali. Hindi ko naman sinasabi madali, but it's a lot easier for coaches now. Kasi ngayon may laptop na, isa na lang ang dala-dala mo, tapos napakadali na mag-transfer ng games. No? But syempre, ang importante pa rin is how you process the game. So, yun naman yung isang nakita ko rin na nagbago. Mas malalim ngayon ang pagpoproseso ng mga coaches about the game. So, which is really good because that's how the game advances.
Pero even the game itself, no, Coach, alam ko na sa pananaw ninyo, nagbago din ang coaching. Ngayon, nakikita na natin yung positionless basketball, nakikita natin yung small ball, nakikita na natin yung dribble drive na nung araw hindi naman yan mga hindi naman natin ginagawa yan, ano. Ikaw ba, coach, kahit papaano yung filosofiya mo nagbago rin sa panig ng pagiging coach mo sa basketball?
Yes, malaki na rin ang pinagbago ko. Kasi napakabilis din ng change sa basketball. Halos every year there's something new. Every year ibang filosofiya ng basketball yung nakikita natin. And if you really spend time watching games all around from the US, Europe, college, professional, ang dami mong pwedeng ma-absorb, ang dami mong pwedeng matutunan. So siguro ang approach ko lang is really just being open to all the ideas. Tapos kailangan lang piliin kung ano yung tingin ko na makikinabang ako at saka yung magiging bagay sa pinapatakbo ko. So hindi naman kasi pwedeng kunin lahat Napakadami, sobrang dami ko. So kailangan maging hindi naman pihikan, but you just have to be a little bit selective para yung ibabagay lang dun sa style of coaching.
Pero isang bagay ang hindi nagbabago, coach. It's been a thankless job ang coaching. Alam naman natin yan Sabi nga nila, when you win, when the team wins, players win. Pag natatalo, coaches lose it, di ba? Ganun ang laging kasabihan sa atin sa basketball. And one other thing na hindi nagbabago, yung sakit ba pag ikaw humihiwalay sa isang koponan? You've mentioned that in some of your interviews when you left Talk and Text, of course, many years ago. In fact, in one of your interview na basa ko, sabi mo, hindi ka nga nanood ng basketball for a long time. And I know that for a fact, dahil nakikita kita sa golf course araw-araw. Coach, you know that that's gonna happen. I mean, ganyan talaga ang buhay ng coach. Have you learned from your experiences in the past that paano ka ngayon nagko-cope? How are you looking at that in the future?
Siguro, I've accepted that it is really part of our jobs as coaches na lagi may katapusan. Mag-start ka sa isang team pero palagi naman may katapusan yan. The only thing you do not really know is the duration. So I always have this approach na pagpapasok ako sa isang team. I always think long term. Of course, expecting and hoping na pag pumasok ako sa isang team, while going through the process, syempre, ina-expect ko na mahaba ang panahon ko dun sa team na yun. Ayoko kasi isipin na na short term lang. Kasi pag ganun, minsan yung decision making mo na aapektuhan palagi.
Correct.
Yes, so palagi sa akin, it's always long term. My vision is always long term dun sa mga teams na nahahawakan ko.
And given that, ngayon na may bago kang koponan, you're almost 2 years with your team now, coming in November, ang Blackwater. Kamusta? How is the team? And you've been, sabi ko kanina, you've been one of the busiest sa off-season with trades and mga picks ninyo sa draft. Anong klaseng koponan, Coach Nash, ang binubuo mo, ang kinoconstruct mo dyan sa Blackwater ngayon?
Well, syempre ang pinaka-goal talaga ko is to have a competitive team. Alam natin na napakalakas ng mga koponan sa PBA. And kami, nasa baba kami ng liga. And siguro ang goal namin is really to try to be competitive. So ngayon, lahat ng galaw namin sa off-season is really para mapunuan yung mga posisyon na kailangan namin. We've been fortunate to have 3 picks in the draft. Sila Toralba, Acuno, si Paras. We're hoping that they could really help us moving forward. And we've also added si Kelly Nabong sa free agent market. That's one approach na ginagawa namin. Sumisilip talaga kami sa free agent market because of course with the influx of a lot of very talented rookies, marami ring mga veterano na di-displace, and these veterans could really play in the PBA for a long time. So doon kami medyo nakabantay. Kumbaga nag-aabang, tingnan natin kung sino yung pwede natin maipasok sa team natin.
Ano nagbibigay sa iyo ng kumpiyansa, Coach Nash, na your team is competitive at this point? You know, especially sabi mo nga, yung mga napili mong mga players, what do you see in these players na, you know, gives you yung pag-asa na, uy, itong taon na to might be different from, you know, the past para sa Blackwater?
Ang pinaka-importante sa amin, Com, is we see yung competitive spirit dun sa mga players. Sabi ko nga, siguro going back to the bubble last year, well, you talk about Ron Denison, who is not really a very talented player, pero he will not lack effort. Laban lang ng laban. Kumbaga, yung mentality niya na patay kung patay. Sabi ko nga, if we could just multiply that, kahit na less talented players, pero lahat sila, ganyan ang attitude, gusto lumaban. Then that really gives you confidence as a coach. Alam mo na meron kang at a certain given time, laging may 5 player ka na gustong lumaban, tapos patay kung patay attitude, then that would really give you a good chance every game.
When you look at your team ngayon, Coach, and ako, tinitingnan ko yung lineup mo, ilan na lamang ang mga ika nga veterano dyan, no? Ilan na lang yung mga born in the 80s, no? Mabibilang yan, si KG Canaleta, si Kelly Nabong, and si Marion Magat, no? The rest are all younger in their generation, and of course, pagkatapos ng umalis si Mac Bello sa inyo, iba na yung composition ng team, no? But who do you see as being the leader of this team now, Coach Nash? So, sino ang mag-step up in terms of leadership para sa inyo?
Well, we've lost 2 of our leaders dun sa mga previous trades na nangyari. Right now, ang approach is try to bring out the leadership in everyone. So ang gusto namin maging collective leadership ang approach namin. Hindi kasi ang hirap kasi kung maghanap ng isang leader lang sa bawat team, and that's the kind of experience we had when we were with Talk and Text, when we lost Jimmy Alapag. So nahirapan sila maghanap ng kapalit ni Jimmy, and I always believed in collective leadership, na hindi lagi isang tao lang, lahat tayo pwede maging leader. So kung ma-develop namin that kind of culture in Blackwater, then yeah, it will be good for us moving forward.
Well, alam mo, again, your lineup hindi naman nagkukulang sa talent, and of course experience. Nandiyan of course sila Ed Takigawag, Amer Paser na nakuha ninyo in that particular trade, and Simon Enciso, and of course you've got KG Canaleta and Carl Brian Cruz, no, andyan pa rin. This year, now that you're 1 year full into your coaching sa Bossing, Coach, sino sa tingin mo will you be giving more responsibility when it comes to offense?
One of our, well, again, we've lost 3 of our top scorers dun sa mga trades. You talk about Sumang, Bello, and Troliano. The 3 of them gave us 36 points during the bubble. The next top scorer namin after those 3, si KG Canaleta. So tingin namin itutuloy namin yon. We expect KG to contribute more sa offense. We've brought in Baser, si Simon, even si Kelly, Nabong. Those guys are could score. So tingin din namin makakatulong sila sa offense namin. So now it gives us a little bit more flexibility because yung mga guards namin in a way could also score. Yung bigs namin now with Kelly coming in, makakatulong din sa offense.
Well, of course, nasa sa inyo pa naman din yung si Marion Magat, and of course yung si Carl Brian Cruz, no? And of course David Semerad, no? Nasa sa inyo rin, Coach, no? Now let's talk about your rookies for a while. Tatlo yung binanggit mo kanina na pumasok sa inyo, si Acuno, si Toralba, and of course Paras. Ano ang rating mo so far insofar as they're concerned? Una-una, are they all signed up? And pangalawa, how do you find your rookies so far?
Yes, first question, yes, they are with Blackwater, the three of them. We were able to sign them. Makakatulong sa aming frontline, of course, Acuno and Paras. These are both young bigs, utility guys. They could give you different things. But siguro sa nakikita ko, with those two guys, plus of course si Toralba, yung toughness. That's one reason why we got those three guys. Nakita namin, lalo na ako, nasusubaybayan ko sila when they were in college and in the D-League. Ito yung mga bata na palaban din, mahilig mag-hustle. They don't just think about their offense. So two-way sila palagi. They put emphasis on their defense and their hustle. So tingin ko yun yung mga kaya nilang ibigay sa amin. That kind of mentality you mix with the veterans, so it should give you positive output.
All right. Well, I know that yan po mga kaibigan ng panayam natin kay Coach Nash Racela. Meron pa siya mga binanggit, lalong-lalo na doon sa yung si Carl Brian Cruz na hindi daw nila muna iti-trade. Then of course yung kanyang opinion about ang Blackwater ay hindi naman conduit. They have done their part trying to build the team, and kung meron mang mga trades na ginagawa sila, it's all part of their their desire na maging mas competitive sa PBA. Maraming salamat kay Coach Nash Racela, and good luck sa Blackwater Bossing. We're really looking forward sa kanilang koponan and in this coming season. But by the way, before tayo magtapos again mga kapatid, gusto ko po kayong anyayahan muli sa laban ni Jerwin Ancajas against Jonathan Javier Rodriguez. Bukas po yan, ipapalabas na ang laban ni Ancajas versus Rodriguez via Facebook live stream, 9 o'clock ng umaga. Live po yan sa One Sports Facebook page, and of course One Sports Plus. Meron din pong same day telecast bukas sa One Sports at One Sports Plus, alas 12 po ng tanghali, laban ni Ancajas, at mapapanood din niyo po yung laban ni Mark Magsayo. Meron pong primetime replay tomorrow 7 o'clock sa One Sports at sa One Sports Plus, at isa pang replay sa April 12 Monday, One Sports po yan, alas 12 ng tanghali. Ipagdasal po natin ang ating mga boksingero, lalong-lalo na si Jerwin Ancajas. Talking about April 12, gusto ko pong batiin ang aking mahal na ina, si Rita Ayala, ng isang happy birthday, inay. Hindi man tayo madalas magkasama, lagi ka naming pinagdarasal. Again, to all the seniors, mag-iingat po kayo. Happy birthday, inay, and we love you very much. Di paano, mga kaibigan, tapos na naman tayo sa isa na namang linggo ng Power and Play. Marami po salamat sa lahat ng mga nakasama natin sa ating programa ngayon, and of course, lahat po ng ating mga tagapanood at tumulong po sa atin ngayong araw pong ito. Again, mag-ingat po tayo sa lahat ng ating mga ginagawa. Stay home kung kaya naman nating dito na lamang sa bahay. At again, sa lahat po ng ating gawain, ad maiorem Dei gloriam, all for the greater glory of God. Happy Sports Weekend, mga kapatid. More power, more play.